I'm Janet Morana, Executive Director of Priests for Life. Welcome to Just Ask Janet. Well, today's program, if you have any children around the house, gather them in, because today is going to be a treat just for the grown-ups, but also for the kids. Because joining me today is a very, very famous author. He's written so many books, amazing children's and adult books. And I'm very privileged to work with him here at Priests for Life with Father Pavone. As a matter of fact, I've known him about 30 years, like Father. So welcome, Anthony DeStefano, to the program.
Hey, Janet. Thanks for having me, as always.
Okay. So for our viewers here who maybe aren't familiar with your great writing skills, when did you first say, I just want to write a book? And I think your first book was a children's book or not? What was your first one?
Well, first published book was an adult book, A Travel Guide to Heaven. And that was published back in 2003. The first book I ever wrote was a children's book called Little Star, which I wrote in high school, but it sat in a drawer for 30 years until it was finally published. So I guess you could say I started with children's books, but, I started about 2003, almost 20 years ago, with adult Christian books.
Christian books. And of course, Little Star happens to be, of all your books, it is my favorite, especially for Christmas. And I can't read that whole book, Anthony, and get there without getting choked up. But today's show, we're going to focus on our Blessed Mother, Mary. And the first Mary book you wrote is this one here I'm holding, Our Lady's Wardrobe. So just tell everybody a little bit about Our Lady's Wardrobe. I'm going to open some of the pictures because they're absolutely stunning.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to write a book on Our Lady for many, many years. I've had a strong devotion to Our Lady. Even before I was a strong Catholic, I loved Our Lady. I don't know why. But I never was able to come up with any idea that I thought was worthy of her. I was creative enough. And sometime a couple of years ago, after Eucharistic adoration, saints that we venerate, like St. Joseph and St. Francis and St. Anthony, they were all dressed the same, wearing this dull brown robe. But Mary,
here I'm showing it.
Perfect woman, dressed beautifully, always adorns herself. So I thought, wouldn't that be a nice way to introduce children to Our Lady by showing them some of her well-known apparitions and some of the great clothes that she wore. And that would be a colorful, fun, entertaining way to introduce children to the Blessed Virgin.
I'm going to hold up some of these pictures. Look at this. See? Beautiful, right? Yeah, because you go through here. This is Our Lady of Mount Carmel. And, of course, those of us in the pro-life movement, our favorite, Our Lady of Guadalupe, right? But you're right, Anthony. This is a great way of really practically, how do you teach children about all these apparitions? And, here's the miraculous medal. And I know for a fact, I think this is one of your favorites because I do believe you have a ring that you wear all the time, right? To the miraculous medal.
But I also wear one around my neck, Yes, very much. Well, if you get all those graces from Our Lady and all those miracles, I need miracles. I need graces in my life. I don't know about you.
Oh, always. Well, anyway, this Our Lady's Wardrobe was, came out last year, right? Yeah,
it did, and it surprised all of us. I thought it would be popular, but I had no idea that it would be such a big bestseller, and people were clamoring right away for more, because obviously Our Lady has more titles than just those that are known, from her apparitions. She's had so many other titles.
So in comes the new book. Today, of course, it's a special day. It's February 18th. This is the launch of the newest book, which is Our Lady's Picture Book. So tell us a little bit about this one, Anthony.
Well, as I was just saying, I wanted to write a sequel because so many people wanted it too. So many people were telling me, well, what about you didn't include this Our Lady title, this title? But I was just trying to come up with a good idea. I wanted to write a book that was worthy of Our Lady, not just another sequel for the sake of writing a sequel. And it hit me one day that there's so many paintings and sculptures and stained glass images of Our Lady that have come down to us through the ages. And that goes perfectly with the age that we're in right now. We're really living in the age of the picture, right? I mean, Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, everybody's taking selfies. Everybody's, using smartphones to post pictures of themselves and their family. And I thought to myself, what if Our Lady had her own family picture album? What kind of favorite images and favorite memories would she have in such an album? And that was the idea. Once I had that idea, I thought that's a great way to have a second book, which would round out the apparitions to include other images that didn't necessarily have to do with apparitions, but were just titles that Our Lady has.
Right. And of course, we have a special treat right now because I know, Anthony, you went into a studio and you did a reading of Our Lady's picture book. So let's take a look at that right now. This gives me like till about...
Our Lady's Picture Book, written by Anthony DeStefano, illustrated by Juliana Kolosova. Pictures help remind us of the people that we love, people here on earth with us and heaven up above. Throughout the years, Our Lady has been shown in many ways, in paintings, statues, books, and cards, and holiday displays. These images can help us pray and make us faithful too. From Our Lady's Picture Book, here are just a few. When Jesus was a tiny tot, Our Lady got him dressed. She took him to the temple so the baby could be blessed. Then Mary turned and saw a man, faithful, wise, and old. He told her she would suffer and the sword would pierce her soul. And sure enough, the man was right, and what he said came true. Mary's life was very hard and full of sorrows too. So when you're feeling sad and blue and gloomy now and then, ask Our Lady for her help to make you smile again. When Jesus was a little boy, he had a scary dream. He saw a cross and spear and nails and woke up with a scream. His mother took him in her arms and hugged and squeezed him tight. She kissed his head and held his hands, and soon he felt all right. So when you're scared and filled with fear and don't know what to do, ask Our Lady for her help, and she will comfort you. When Mary lived in Nazareth, her house was made of stone. Our Lady stayed there many years until her son was grown. This house in which the family lived together happily was flown by angels in the sky and brought to Italy. So when your family needs some prayers and isn't doing well, ask Our Lady for her help to bless the place you dwell. When Mary's mission was complete and all her work was done, her soul and body God took up to be beside her Son. From heaven she can help us more with constant loving prayer, sending graces down to us and people everywhere. So when your body's feeling weak and sluggish, sick and sore, ask Our Lady for her help to make you strong and pure. When ships at sea are caught in storms and black clouds fill the night, Our Lady leads them to the shore just like a guiding light. She's often called the Northern Star because she points the way to safety in the arms of Jesus when we go astray. So when you're lost and in distress and feeling all alone, ask Our Lady for her help, and she will lead you home. When Christian people on the earth throughout their history were persecuted for their faith, they prayed the rosary. And when these Christians had to fight in battles on the sea, Our Lady helped them with her prayers and gave them victory. So when you're feeling overwhelmed and trying not to sin, ask Our Lady for her help to struggle till you win. When children misbehave by being bad and telling lies, God forgives them always if they just apologize. The Lord is kind and merciful to children big and small. He helps them get back up again the moment that they fall. So when you've sinned by doing something God does not allow, ask Our Lady for her help to say you're sorry now. When all the world is plagued by wars and hatred fills the air, Mary prays to God for peace and friendship everywhere. The only way the gift of peace can ever be restored is if we worship Mary's Son, Jesus Christ the Lord. So when you're feeling really mad at people that you know, ask Our Lady for her help to let your anger go. Our Lady's heart belongs to God. It's spotless, clean, and pure. That's why it's called immaculate for now and evermore. Her heart in heaven beats with love for boys and girls like you. She's mother to our Lord above, but she's your mother too. So ask Our Lady for her help. Ask her day and night. Ask her when you're feeling sad. Ask with all your might. Ask Our Lady, never fear. Ask for anything. She will bring you peace and joy from Jesus Christ the King.
Wow, that was beautiful. And I'll tell you, Anthony, this book now, along with this one, I mean, both of these books, the illustrations are absolutely amazing. I mean, I just love every one of them. How did you find this illustrator? Because, I mean, her artwork is just fantastic.
Yes, well, her name is Juliana Kolosova, and she's an artist who's originally from Moscow. She's Russian-born, and then she moved to Canada. And I found her because, Janet, I was looking for artists that specialize in very photorealistic kinds of images, the ability to draw people and nature scenes and interior scenes with a strong sense of photorealism. And I did not want the book to be too cartoony. You know, some of my other books, Janet, you know, where there are animals like the donkey that no one could ride. You want it to be more like a Disney type of Warner Brothers, have that kind of an animated look. But for a book on Our Lady, I wanted to demonstrate this theological truth that Our Lady is real. You know, in the Catholic Church, we have this beautiful doctrine of the Assumption, that at the end of Mary's life, you know, she went up body and soul to heaven. She's in heaven now with a real, live, breathing, glorified body, you know, and I wanted to show that she's real and that heaven is real. So I wanted an artist that, you know, could really, you know, make the person reading the book say, wow, I could reach out and touch that person. Just like the people who saw the apparitions of Mary, like Bernadette, they always said, oh, that Mary was, you know, just as real as us, only more beautiful. Yeah.
So now, does Julia know that Our Lady's Wardrobe, how popular that book has become? Does she have that spoken to her? Does she know?
She knows, and she was thrilled to do Our Lady's picture book. And guess she's doing another book for me too, called Joseph's Donkey. It's a book on Saint Joseph, which is coming out this Christmas. And I wanted to use Juliana for the same reason that I used her for these books, because if she painted Our Lady so well, then she could paint her spouse, Saint Joseph, well.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that one, Anthony, because, you know, I always feel like poor Saint Joseph, he always gets the short end of the stick. I mean, there's not one word he says in the whole Bible. People, you know, they just kind of forget about him. He's like that humble, quiet, you know, servant, protector of course, the Lord and Mary. But I always feel like there's not enough attention, except when people want to sell a house and they focus on St. Joseph. But other than that, he kind of gets forgotten, except for March 19th, you know?
Well, yes, I agree with that. And that's why I wrote this book. And I give a little bit of it away now. The book is about Joseph's donkey, and the donkey sort of mirrors Saint Joseph. He's also quiet. He's also strong. He's also silent. He's also very noble. He just does his work, but in the process of that, he protects the Holy Family and goes on all of these adventures with, sees the birth of Jesus. So in a way, the book, even though it's called Joseph's Donkey, it's really about Saint Joseph, whose character and life this little donkey mimics. I think
all right. Well, I'm promising our viewers, Anthony, then as soon as that book's available, we'll have you back.
This Christmas. Yeah, and this is the year of Saint Joseph, too, as you know.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's right. Pope Francis called this the year of Saint Joseph.
Yes.
Well, let's go back, though, to Our Lady's picture book. And like I said, this is a beautiful story. And, of course, today's February 18th. Yesterday was Ash Wednesday. Everyone now is in that Lenten spirit. But I think we have to start thinking about Easter. And wouldn't it be fabulous to have these books in someone's Easter basket, children's Easter basket for Easter? I think these would make great Easter presents. What do you think, huh?
I hope so. I hope so. I wrote this book not because it would make a good present, obviously, although probably it would. But I really did write this book and the last book so that together they would serve as a real kind of simple yet comprehensive introduction to the Blessed Virgin Mary. These crazy times that we're living in, we need Mary more than ever. And we need, especially to educate children about Mary. So, yes, I'm happy if it's used as a gift. But the real purpose is just to get the message out about how Our Lady leads people to her son, Jesus Christ.
Well, I also think, Anthony, because when you think about it, the past year with the pandemic, children in our country, their whole world has been turned upside down. I know this from my grandchildren, watching, all their sports like cheerleading, hockey, canceled. First they're learning at home totally on Google Classroom or Zoom. And now they're back in school maybe 2 days a week and 3 on Zoom and vice versa. And then they come in and test kids. And if too many people test, they shut down the school for a week. So it's this uncertainty I think that children are dealing with right now. But what better way than to help these children to say that you have the Blessed Mother you could be praying to and find comfort. If you're, like you're saying in the book, if you're feeling frightened, it's Our Lady who can help calm those fears, right?
Yeah, that's another big difference between this book and Our Lady's Wardrobe. This book is actually a prayer book. It takes these titles of Our Lady, like Our Lady of Sorrows, for instance. And if you're feeling blue, you can go to Our Lady of Sorrows and ask for consolation. Or if you're, lost and in distress, you could pray to Our Lady Star of the Sea, because she's like the North Star, always guiding you to Christ. So yes, we can pray to her to intercede for us with her son. And also, another thought about this pandemic. We've lived with this pandemic a whole year, Janet. As you know, you've had to deal with this. And, we see sickness all around us, and people we know have gotten sick, and, relatives have gotten sick. Some have even died. And I think to myself, Jesus, when Jesus Christ was a little boy and when he was a teenager, he got sick too. He wasn't just fully God, he was fully man. And when he was sick, when he came down with, some sort of a sickness or was afraid, who nurtured him? Who got him back to health? Mary. His mother, Our Lady. Our Lady's the one who made him chicken soup or matzo ball soup or whatever it is she made him. And she's the one who consoled him. And so we're called to be Christ-like. And so if we're scared about getting sick, we should go to Mary just like Christ went to Mary.
That's right. And, what better way? Because like I said, kids nowadays, they wake up each day and they don't know, am I going to school or am I Zooming? It's like, it's so much uncertainty. That I think building up a devotion to our Blessed Mother is a really, really great idea. So I'm just going to remind our viewers here that Priest for Life, we have our online store. Go to prolifeproducts.org. And we're offering really a special deal during the whole month of March as part of our special. We're going to let you get both of these books for a donation of $27. So that means you're going to get Our Lady's Wardrobe, if you missed that first go round, and Our Lady's Picture Book for a special donation of $27. So it's a great deal. And at the same time, you're making a donation to a pro-life ministry. So what better way than to get these two books? So I'm hoping more people will get them. I know, Anthony, I'm getting them for my grandchildren. I can't wait. I'll have to ship them out to the grandchildren in California and send them up to New York for my grandchildren there, because they all love your books.
Thank you.
In fact, my friends I have a lot of friends who have grandchildren. They all ask me, is Anthony coming out with another book? I said, don't worry, there's another one coming out. Oh, make sure I get it. Make sure I get it. So they all want to line up waiting for your books. Huh?
There's always another one coming out. And I want to say one thing, Janet, you mentioned about pro-life. This is a very pro-life book. No one should think that this isn't, Mary is the mother of life. Jesus Christ is life. He came so that we may have life and have it more abundantly. So she's the mother of life. And we have to remember that in the pro-life movement. Very important. The closer you get to Mary, the more devoted you get to her, the more of a pro-life warrior you can become.
Right. And of course, I just want to remind the adults that you have a beautiful collection of adult books too, which is also on our website, on our store, prolifeproducts.org. And what's the most, I always forget what the order they were published in, but what's the most recent one that just came out not long ago?
I wrote a book on hell. It's called Hell, a Guide. So I've got heaven, I've got hell. I just have to do one purgatory, then I will have updated Dante.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when you first told me about that hell book, I said to myself, hell, who wants to read about hell? But tell them a little bit about your hell book, because people think we're living through hell right now, but we're really not. What we're living through is nothing compared to the real thing. And a lot of people don't believe in hell because they don't believe that God would ever punish anyone, since God loves us so much. What they don't realize is that people choose to go to hell. Just like the devil and the demons were able to choose to go against God, so human beings can choose to go against God. And we see it happening all around. We see the presence of evil all around us. And this book is just, it's not a downer. It's I think it's an inspiring book because it shows us what not to do and the attitude we shouldn't have, the hardened, prideful, wicked attitude that we have to avoid if we want to avoid that terrible place. Well, Anthony, too, I think the problem, too, with hell is we don't hear it preached from the pulpit anymore. I mean, when I was a kid, we heard a lot about hell. We heard about, the devil is prowling around the world, seeking the ruin of souls and all that. But in this day and age, they don't preach about hell.
Well, sometimes they're afraid it's going to come up being too cartoonish, and a lot of times people have this very immature, ignorant, cartoonish idea about hell, and it's not any of those things. It's real. Just like heaven is real, hell is real. And the whole point of this book was to demonstrate how it could be so, and in a compelling and persuasive way.
And once you read that, you're going to really want to be striving to be a saint and get to heaven. There's no way you're going to want to go to hell. You want to maybe give up some bad practices so that you will get on the right path instead of the wrong. So, Anthony, I really want to thank you for, I know you're so busy doing all your work here for Priests for Life, but thanks for taking a time out this afternoon and joining us. And again, I wish you all the luck with these two books. And again, brothers and sisters, go to prolifeproducts.org, Our Lady's Wardrobe, and the newest one, Our Lady's Picture Book. And for the grown-ups, find out how not to go to hell by reading Anthony's book about hell. So this is Janet Morano. Just Ask Janet. Thank you for joining us again. God bless.